If you feel like you want to be catcalled, it's not a compliment. It's not something that's enjoyable. It's not something that you look forward to. In a world obsessed with perfection and excellence, being average is something that people have become afraid of. We're going to be talking about that today, so stick around. My name is Imara. This is Imara Octavia, and you are watching my channel. This is a cultural commentary channel where I talk about pop culture, music, and media, so if that interests you, stick around and subscribe. I looked at the statistics, and 100% of the people who viewed my last video are not subscribed. So if you all like me, subscribe, like, leave a comment, and hit the notification bell. My Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok should be on the screen right now for your viewing and following pleasure. But with that, grab a snack and let's get into the video. We live in a society that glorifies the extremes. You're either skinny or you're fat, you're pretty or you're ugly, you're dumb or you're smart. Even when we think of different trends that are going around right now, there was overconsumption and now there's underconsumption core. There's never somewhere in the middle. It's not there because social media and entertainment feeds us a steady stream of exceptionalism, and it makes average seem undesirable. So let's talk about what pretty privilege is and ugly privilege. So pretty privilege is when a person who is deemed conventionally attractive or attractive to the person who they are interacting with will get preferential treatment. And what is ugly privilege? Ugly privilege is where people feel a sense of freedom because they're not linked to the way that they look. So an example for pretty privilege would be the halo effect, where people will attribute other positive things to you because you're pretty. So this woman is stunningly gorgeous, so she must be healthy and smart. And ugly privilege is I can go on a run at 10 p.m. because nobody's going to kidnap me because I'm so ugly, or I'm so ugly that men have never catcalled me. With both pretty and ugly privilege, there are pros and cons, so we'll talk about them. There are studies that show that pretty people will get out of a legal situation. So one of the main things that I think of is when it comes to, like, you know, I was watching How I Met Your Mother, and they were like, Robin's pretty girls don't get tickets. And it's definitely a positive, a pretty privilege where you can, like, cry your way out of a ticket.
Oh, honey, it's okay, no ticket for you.
Or you could be like, oh, what's wrong, officer? Oh, I didn't notice. Or like that audio that was like trending on TikTok, and it was like, how much do I owe you?
It's okay, it's on the house.
Really? Ice Spice definitely is not beating the allegations of pretty privilege. Her album came out the other day and everybody has been like ripping into it. And like, if you look up videos of Ice Spice, it's talking about light skin privilege, which is a subcategory of pretty privilege. But I won't get into that today. But it's like pretty privilege, pretty privilege, pretty privilege. Like, she is okay with being average or less than average in rapping because she is, I guess, a little bit more than the average or more than average when it comes to looks. There is an epidemic, if you will, of beautiful white to light skinned women on TikTok who get famous for like the bare minimum. Like Charlie Stole the Renegade Dance, that girl who was lip syncing to Praise Ja in the Moonlight, and all she did was just look pretty and like lip sync. The lip sync wasn't even all the way there, like we can clock that T. Bella Poarch, who had like one of the most liked TikToks, and she's just doing silly faces to like a song. And I'm not sure how many ugly people would get, you know, viral and like famous off of this. But also a lot of those women's success comes and it goes with their looks. The moment that you are no longer beautiful to the masses, people are not supporting you unless you are not mediocre. And like other things like Doja Cat, people loved Doja Cat's music, and so they supported her, but also like a big part of that was her aesthetic and the way she looked. and then she changed her aesthetic. She cut her hair, she shaved her eyebrows, and a lot of people no longer fucked with Doja Cat. She was no longer an object of their affection, and they did not want to see that or hear anything from her until she produced great music, because I guess she was ugly or average in looks when she took away her hair. So for pretty privilege, people might not try to get to know you past what you look like.
All people see when they look at me is blonde hair and big boobs.
Or you might be sexualized. Perfect example for this is actress Megan Fox. Megan Fox is a beautiful bombshell of a woman, but that's all people see when they look at her movies. Like if you look at her discography, she is just cast as a beautiful woman who's going to get a slow-mo shot of her in some revealing clothes, or she's bent over something, or she's drenched in water to show her body, and she is seen as nothing more than eye candy. She has a pretty face, and that's all they care about.
Yeah, but then now you're a sex symbol though.
I hate it. It makes me so uncomfortable.
Megan and other actresses who have only been seen for those like more attractive roles usually get pigeonholed into only being able to do those roles, until some of them will do what's called an ugly role, like Margot Robbie and I, Tonya. But why do you need to be ugly to be taken seriously? This is again an example of the ugly privilege thing that people are talking about. I don't know if you all remember, but there was this girl or this woman, and she worked at Home Depot, and she had just like posted some pictures of herself online, and she went viral off of that on Twitter. And a lot of the men were like, why are you working at Home Depot? Like, you're so gorgeous, you shouldn't be working there. And basically what happened was men looked her up or did something and found out which Home Depot she worked at, and they were stalking her at her job. This hasn't been the only person. The tuah girl, I think that's how you pronounce it, she has been accosted about, doing OnlyFans. And I do have my beef with her, not because she's trying to capitalize on that cringy ass saying, it's just because she follows Logan and Jake Paul's dad on Instagram, and he is like very anti-trans people, and I'm not dealing with that. She got accosted in like the comments saying, you should do an OnlyFans, you should do an OnlyFans, you should do an OnlyFans. And they do not owe you that. They do not owe you access to their bodies.
Low-key, guys, ugly privilege be coming in clutch hella. You're not finna catch me getting kidnapped, because they not trying to kidnap me. Uzi.
Ugly privilege comes with creativity, self-expression, just being able to do stuff. So general freedom to run at 10 p.m., to fill up your gas tank while you're by yourself, to walk alone at nights and to not fear for your safety. But ugly privilege also comes with some downsides.
Okay, deadass though, ugly privilege is real. I've never been catcalled. I've never been harassed. I've never had creepy people come up and flirt with me. I've had friends say that every time they go downtown, guys flirt with them. I've been downtown so many times, nothing.
This girl on TikTok, I'm going to blur out her name because I don't want people to send her hate, but she said, I feel this. It's gotten so bad that I want to be catcalled, and I feel horrible for feeling that way. And I have been catcalled many a time. It happened twice. When I was walking to work, a man would say hello, and I'd just keep walking, pretend like I didn't hear them just for my own safety. And they would like pull up on me, like both of them were on bikes, and they were just like riding next to me, and they were talking to me, and they were trying to figure out, I can walk you to work, I can do this and I can do that. And it was just like, I just need to get your number, and just different things like that. And I was like, please leave me alone. Like, the men could not realize why I was feeling unsafe. If you feel like you want to be catcalled, it's not a compliment. It's not something that's enjoyable. It's not something that you look forward to. Someone said that this whole trend is giving a terrible message. No one is safe from traffickers, being assaulted, or creepy men just because of their looks. I was catcalled when I was an ugly 14-year-old and as an average 20-year-old who takes time to look decent. Women are targets regardless of their bodies and what some men think that they can offer. I can't believe they're spreading the idea that the uglier you look, the safer you are, because it's simply not true. There is kind of this dangerous rhetoric going around with ugly privilege. A lot of times when I see the videos about it, it's like, oh, well, a man won't try to assault you because you're ugly. People won't try to kidnap you because you're ugly. And I just want to say, this is not true. Let me say that again closer to the mic. This is not true. Because one, if it happens to you, God forbid you get assaulted, less people are going to believe you because you're quote unquote ugly. People are going to say, oh, well, why would he want to assault you? Like, look at him. He has, a six-pack abs. He's 6'5", and you're that. To catch-22. If you are seen with pretty privilege, people are going to, or not going to, but people might assault you because they're like, oh, well, I had no choice. She was just so gorgeous, I couldn't keep my hands off of her.
Are you hitting on me?
You're a beautiful girl.
So everything you just said?
I'm a man who knows what he wants.
And then if you are ugly, you're ugly, you are likely to be targeted because no one's going to believe you. I put Leslie Jones into the thumbnail not because I think she's ugly, but because she's what a lot of people deem as ugly, and she does not get the perks of ugly privilege in the way that other people do. And you could say it's because she's in Hollywood, but Leslie Jones is always accosted for the way that she looks. People, like, even when she was in Ghostbusters, oh, she's the reason why it flopped. Like, maybe if you had some prettier women in this movie, then this wouldn't have been an issue. And it's like, this is the way this woman looks. Like, people will judge you for getting work done. And they're like, oh, you need to love yourself. Why don't you like yourself? But then when you naturally look the way you do, people have so much to say as well. I was doing some research for this video and I came across some videos. Again, all the videos that like inspired me or that I watched pertaining to this are going to be linked down in the description. And basically there were two videos. There was one from a guy and his name was David, and there was one from Kimberly Nicole Foster. In their videos, they were talking about attractiveness, and David said that, I don't think I'm like the most attractive person. I think that I'm average or a little bit above average.
I don't think I'm that good looking, all right? I don't think I'm ugly. I think I'm objectively maybe a little bit above average.
And Kimberly said the same thing as well.
Me saying that I occupy toward the median, maybe a little bit above the median in physical attractiveness.
And it was just not perplexing, but very interesting to me that both of these people were not happy just being the average of average. Like, it wasn't just I'm average, period. But there are some other comments that I wanted to read. This one says, average does not equal ugliness. People should be honest and just admit that they are not satisfied with being average. I am okay with looking average. I know that I am not like drop dead gorgeous, do a double take when you walk past me. I definitely have some days where I struggle with just my image, my face, my body, just everything. I think that the way you look is a visual story of your ancestry. I think that what most people why most people are afraid of being average is because they feel like they aren't worthy of anything. You aren't worthy of praise because you're average. You aren't worthy of attention because you're average. You aren't worthy to occupy the space that you do because you are average. I think that people are afraid of being average because they think that they're going to be overlooked and undervalued. And in certain aspects of life, that is true. That certain organization or job that you apply to might not want you because you just seemed average in a pool of candidates. But also, there are plenty of people in your life who love you for being you. I wanted to end this video with saying, being average is not bad. There are plenty of things that you are good at, even if you're just average at them, and that you enjoy. Continue doing those things. You don't have to think of yourself as ugly or pretty. You can just be average. It doesn't have to be body positivity or body negativity. It can be body neutrality. So this is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. If you have gotten this far into the video, you can comment coconuts in the comments. Please like, comment, subscribe. I hope you have an amazing day.
Let me in your algorithm, please. If I'm someone you would like, follow, share, and subscribe.